Okay, so coming to you live from Camel Plaza, up top, second floor. This is Hamza Vlog TV. Anyways, tonight, Alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a tawfiq to bring again this segment, considering last week that I was asleep until 7 p.m. and then my wife is waking me up saying, honey, get up, But awesome. So anyways, though, tonight, alhamdulillah, we have the brother Hamza. He's going to share his story with us a little bit. I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah azza wa jalla, to give us the details of these stories for us to bring into our own lives and learn from them, inshallah. Anyways, without further ado, this is Hamza. Alhamdulillah, he's going to give us a little bit of his story. If I could ask you though, Hamza, what was your religion before Islam?
Before Islam? Well, I was raised Christian, Lutheran to be exact. And, it was Trinitarian church, but I never accepted the Trinity as I was a Unitarian Christian. And then after that I became atheist. So those were and I got into a little bit into deism and maybe a little bit of like weird atheism, but like a weird out there atheist.
Weird out there atheists?
Yeah. Like they're technically called Satanists, but they didn't worship anything.
So you're still a little wacko.
Yeah, so I was pretty wacko back in the day. Yeah, that's what I was before I was Muslim.
So, and how long ago did you accept Islam?
Let's see, a year. Maybe like a month and a half now. Yeah, a month and a half.
And just for our viewers' sake, what was the hardest thing for you to accept in Islam?
The hardest, like, rule?
Yeah, well, just the hardest thing. I mean, like, for some people it's praying 5 times a day. For some people it's, I can't drink alcohol anymore. For some people it's like, oh, what do you mean I can't have a girlfriend? Well, for some people,
I say maybe the hardest things to like give up that I had to sacrifice was probably the alcohol. I used to smoke cigars, I like cigars. And of course the girls. That was probably one of the toughest. And I think praying 5 times a day took a little bit to get used to. At first I was kind of like, this is a lot. But I mean, I was really happy to give all of it up, honestly. Like, I gave up drinking and smoking literally right when I took my shahada. Even though I intensely craved it afterwards, and sometimes I still do. It's worth giving up. I mean, alcohol or Jannah, paradise. Paradise. You know,
So then, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Hamza. Remember we had a 30-minute segment. We're starting off here. It is 10:26 p.m. and we're gonna be doing the segment. We'll give you about 4 more minutes through until about 7 o'clock. So, well, no, 4 more minutes. We're gonna give you like 7 p.m. Let's try to wrap it up so that we don't take too much from our viewers. And just the regular guideline. Just to start you off a little bit. Is that give us a little bit about your early experience in the church as a child, what it was that made you stray away from that, and then just finish it up with telling us of how you feel now, and we'll give you a couple of questions after.
Well, really, when I was young, I was raised Christian. I lived in Eden Prairie at the time. I went to this big Lutheran church. I don't even remember the name of it anymore. And of course, every Sunday we'd go to church for Sunday school. My parents would bring me, and I'd sing, like church songs, and watch VeggieTales, all the church cartoons and good stuff, and go to the sermons and stuff. But I remember even being that young. I love Bible stories and stuff, but I love Jesus, but I never ever thought Jesus was God. To me, that was just incomprehensible. I remember sitting in the church and everyone's, we're all praying together type thing, or the Christian baby this or that type deal. We're all like this, and like, oh Jesus this, oh Jesus that. And I'm sitting there going, you are just a bunch of idiots. And, you know, I didn't want to, I'm not trying to be mean or nothing, but I'm just like, I'm going to pray to God. I don't know about you guys, but I'd rather pray to God than some Jews.
So when you went to church, you noticed that people, they prayed more than Jesus, more than you prayed to God?
I don't know if it was more, maybe it was equally, maybe it was more, I don't remember. It's such a long time ago, I was so young. And this was like when I was 5 and younger. So like, but I remember that exact moment. I was like sitting down and everyone else is standing up, and I'm just looking at them like, why are you praying to this guy? I'm going to pray to God. So I'm sitting there doing the prayer and putting God where they would say Jesus. And I did the prayers and I only prayed to God, and I only communicated to God. And
why was this though? What do you think it was? It was just something that was there.
It was something that just didn't make sense to me from the beginning. It's just like, I'm not praying to some thing, I'm going to pray to God. Okay? And then as I got older, I learned about the Trinity and stuff, and I always confused the heck out of me. I always asked questions but never was given answers. When I was about 8 years old, I decided, you know what? This just big religion gets people all riled up and stuff. You know, I kind of like it. Well, you know, I like Bible stories, so I'm like, I'm going to read the whole Bible. And then, so I did. And like every day at school when I was in spare time, I mean, of course the teachers, they didn't want to be like, oh, no, read the Bible, you know. So they just kind of leave me be, and I'd like read it in their spare time. And I actually read the whole Bible. And I loved the stories in it, but I noticed lots of things. Even though I was 8, I was like, okay. Like there's a part where there's supposed to be like a census of the Jews. I think it was Solomon or somebody was taking a census of the Jews at this time. And in one verse over here it says he was inspired by God to take the census. And in another verse over here it said he was inspired by Satan to do the census. Like there was like direct, blatant contradiction in certain parts of the Bible.
Who was getting the inspiration?
Yeah, I mean there's so many others, that's just one. And then there was like other things in the Bible, like Moses getting drunk and acting out naked. That was a little weird. I mean, I was young, but I knew what getting drunk was. My dad drank beer. He got drunk some nights. I mean, I knew what it was. He did it on the weekend.
And these were the big, huge prophets,
right,
in the Bible. And so, what about in the Islam now? Like, if they're like the prophets, they're portrayed in this way, or?
Well, when you look in the Quran and you know, the way they're described, the prophets are like the best of examples. They never did bad stuff. They were good people, you know. They're the best of people, and they are supposed to be our perfect example. And if they're getting drunk, that's not a good example.
Now, if you were alive in that time, like the prophets that you read about in the Bible, would you have followed those? Would you have followed those people? How they're portrayed in the Bible?
I would pick and choose. You would pick and choose. I wouldn't follow the drunk stuff. I'd be like, oh, this stuff's kind of okay.
But I know, if you were being called to their message during that time, right? And take for instance, like the story you just gave us, Moses, he's drunk, right? Hey, Hamza, what's going on, man? Yeah, come on, man, you know you gotta follow me, man. God, he spoke to me, man. He want me. And I'm just, are you going to follow? Is that going to be the guy that you're going to follow? I mean, naked, dude, just drunk and naked and passed out. Is that going to be the guy that you're going to follow? No, of course not. That's going to be the religion you take from. You know, not how we look out there. You know, so I just wanted to touch on that point. Is that like, you know, the prophets in Islam, the prophets that are talked about in the Quran, are they not different? They're way different from what's described in the Bible.
So then after reading the Bible, and I actually read it again after that, and after reading it I was just like, it really pushed me away from Christianity. You know, because I noticed like a lot of the stuff in the Bible, like the stuff that Jesus is quoted as saying, go in contradiction to modern Christianity. Yeah. And the stuff that makes up modern Christianity is all the stuff from Paul. That's what I noticed. And I was just like, well, who's this Paul dude? Like, he just changed everything Jesus said. Like, what is going on? So I was just like, totally confused by that, and it just pushed me away. And then I became one of those kind of, like, I believed in God, but not really a religion. I just pick and choose from whatever I wanted at that point, whatever I liked and thought